the next session we have, and I know folks, we are running slightly over the time today, so just want to recap on the timing right now. Next session we have is with Tejaswini Kumar. She is a senior product marketing manager at Walmart and a career coach. And her session is on personal branding. So real quick, I'm going to share my screen and introduce you, Teju, then you can take over. How does that sound?
Perfect. Perfect. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Okay. So actually, I don't need to share my screen since you're already with us. I'm just gonna share your intro real quick. So Tejaswini actually decodes personal branding in tech, drawing from her journey from Infosys engineer to Times Square featured leader. She'll share strategies to craft authenticity and build communities via platforms like Exponent and TopMate. Here we learn how to balance differentiation with adaptability, turning certifications, storytelling, and LinkedIn engagement into career-defining momentum. This is a topic many of us hold closely to our hearts, and we haven't had anyone, Teju, before you come to the community and talk specifically about personal branding. And I'm sure like so many of us can learn from this. It doesn't matter the age group, it doesn't matter the walk of life we come from. Personal branding applies to everybody. And we would love to learn it from you. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that wonderful intro. And after all that yoga and Pilates sessions, I think I'm prepared to start. All right, let me just quickly share my screen. And because I'm a product marketing girl, a lot of my stuff is on Canva. um, Let me start presenting. Are you all able to see my screen, hear me? All good?
Yes, we can see a screen.
Okay, perfect. So before I start, just wanted to ask you all this one question, right? So when somebody is discussing about you or talking about you, what's the first thing that comes to their mind about you? Think about it for a moment. Is it your job title? Is it the company that you work for? Or is it some quality of yours that you're known for? Like, are you a good planner? Or you're just a trustworthy person and maybe that quality pops up. Maybe ask five of your friends. That would be your first activity for the day because that, my friends, is personal branding. So with that, let me go into a little bit of intro and why I'm here to talk about personal branding. I'll make this short because already Sukhbi was spot on with my intro. Um, so for work, yes, I work as a senior product marketing manager with Walmart, and I'm in charge for launching the One Atlas WMS, which is like the most cutting edge warehouse management system. And essentially, when I'm on site, I function as the on-site journalist. I'm always writing communications to leadership about the different launches that's happening. I also get to work with production and video companies. And we're also flying drones. It's all the cool tech and all the fun stuff, but also, late nights, 2 a.m. at a random warehouse in the middle of nowhere. So it's like the best of both worlds, but also a lot of hard work. So that's what I do for work. And when I'm on site, I'm also collaborating with multiple people because I also train them on the different technologies. But is this what defines me, right? Because outside of work, I love traveling. I've been to like 18 countries. Eating food is like my favorite thing to do. Like I travel 3 hours to go eat a good dosa somewhere in the US. I love creating content on social media. And because I'm such a yapper and a talker, um, LinkedIn is not the only platform where I, create content. So LinkedIn is where I talk about product marketing, content creation, job search, and all of that. But on Instagram, I talk about food, travel, and I'm just a very creative person. So a lot of that I unleash on Instagram. So if you're not following me, you should go follow me. My page is Life with Teju. And more than everything, what I really love is community building because I feel like the more you get to know people one on one, the more you have conversations, that's how you start building your personal brand. I'll talk a little bit about it, but the general attitude about personal branding, right? Most people are like, oh, where do I even start? I'm confused. Or they're like, no, man, I'm introverted. I can't do this. Or most other people are like, you're asking me to start talking about my work on LinkedIn? My colleagues are going to be there. What if they judge me? Or, like, worst case, what if I get fired for something stupid I say on social media? Or just like attitude about, posting, like, oh, she's so full of herself. Why is she always posting? And many people even think this is so cringe. Like, you're asking me to like start taking videos of myself and posting it online. Why would I do that? In just about one more slide, I'll tell you why being cringe got me so many opportunities and why putting myself out there or talking about my experiences helped me build my personal brand. Because I'm sharing my screen, I'm not able to see any of you on screen, but could one of you unmute and say if you all are following?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay, perfect. All right. So, moving on. I feel like this should be the right attitude. If you are, if you all watch Bollywood movies, I think you'll get the first meme and the second one. So you're telling me I have better chances at landing a job doing personal branding? For real, and I'll prove it to you. So the why of building your personal brand, right? First one. Um, thank you, Survi. Just saw your comment. So your name lasts beyond your job titles, and people trust your voice. And to be honest, people trust people, and nobody trusts companies, especially with so many layoffs going on, right? So your words matter, and what you say online matters. And of course, like the career growth that follows, right? So over the last 1 year, we all know how the job market has been. And just because I started posting about what I do, what I learn at work, I even sometimes post about my mistakes and what I learned from them. So all of this kind of builds trust. And recruiters, even in this market, do reach out to me. And there are like some images that I've put on here that proves that this actually happens, right, in this competitive job market. So being cringe has led to such opportunities, and I'm just glad, that it happens. And the perks and the credibility. So more than 100 brands that I've collaborated with. I even got free tickets to important conferences. In fact, I'm currently in Vegas and I'm attending a conference for free. Um, I'm going to be writing about the insights um, about what I'm going to be learning at that conference, but I'm getting to go there for free, right? So these are perks that you get. And I even got featured on a Times Square billboard, and my parents were here to, watch, and they were there on the screen as well. So it was a very important and happy moment for our family. So such things can start happening for you as well. And if you're wondering, okay, cool, wow, that's amazing. But how do I go ahead and thank you? How do I go ahead and do it, right? Don't worry, I got you. This isn't going to be like, one of those, oh, you have to update your cover title, and like you have to, I mean, your cover page on LinkedIn, you have to add your headlines. There are multiple YouTube videos that will teach you that. I'm just, thank you. I'm just going to maybe get you started on how to get there, right? What are the first steps that you got to do? And after that, pardon me, did somebody say something?
No, go ahead, Teju.
Okay, good. The step-by-step process. The first one is storyboarding. So first, just think about all the things you've achieved in life, right? I'm not even asking you to go back and think about failure for now or like what happened. So think about the major highlights of your life and maybe create a storyboard like this one. It doesn't have to be this fancy. I took a lot of time to build this. I love creating things, so I did this. But you can just maybe jot it down on a piece of paper, like right from your childhood until now. Like maybe you won a karate competition, right? You can also have that on your list, right? Start from there, and then basically your graduate degree, what you did. In my case, I was the president of the Entrepreneurs Club of my college, and then I went to Infi where I got some tech base. I learned coding there. Then I started my blog on Instagram. That was very random, right before COVID, and I started posting food recipes, and I started reviewing restaurants there. And then I became a business analyst, and that's where I learned a lot more about like businesses, P&L, top line, bottom line, strategic thinking, and I think I dived a little bit deep into data analysis as well over there. And then COVID happened. I got my admit into UB, but then I had to defer my admit. So during that period, I thought, okay, why don't I experiment with product marketing? Because I knew after my master's, I wanted to be a product manager. And I think I spent 6 months there, but that got me my role today. And I'm very grateful. So you see a lot of success stories here, right? So this is the first step. Just jot down your journey. Like think of your life as a movie and think about the ups and the downs and note down all the ups. Okay, this is step number one. So we're already going to step number two. Step number two would be now, see, this is a highlight reel of my life, but nobody knows the amount of rejections, emails I got during my phase here, right? Or nobody knows how I hated doing ECE or the skills I learned during my time while I was building my blog. Nobody taught me. Those were skills I learned on my own, right? Learned content creation. Thank you, um, content creation, video editing, so many new skills that I had to pick up on my own. And even here, like during my master's, there was that constant anxiety. As immigrants, we all know that we are on that 60-day period where like you have to find a job, otherwise we have to go back home. There was so much stress, and through that stress I learned and I pushed myself. I would go to the library at 2 a.m. and nobody knows the struggles, right? So the second step would be to write down the struggles, like what really you faced and what you learned from it, and valuable lessons that only you can relate to, because I have not gone through your struggles, you have, and you probably learned, or there was some transformation in you that has led to where you are right now. Or like that period of your life probably taught you so much more than any other period, right? And each of us will have a journey like that, and that makes you so unique. So think of your life as a cinema and just jot down the struggles, right? The third step would be to write down how you overcame them, what new skills you picked up, and find out your secret sauce. So nobody can take away my secret sauce from me. So like that, you will probably have that one thing or maybe two things that you're good about that you probably know about than most other people. So you got to figure out what that is. Professionally or, even personally, figure out what is like your superpower. Maybe you're really good at community building. Maybe you're an amazing like communicator, or you are a critical thinker and you love solving people's problems, right? So find that out, and then you'll have to rely on that to build your personal brand. Moving on to step three. Um, Next, defining your audience. Like in my case, I had to build on both platforms because I have a very informal tone and voice on my Instagram versus when I post on my LinkedIn. I'm very like I'm not too formal, but like I go based on my audience. The first thing is you have to find out who are you here for, and what are they looking for. Like what are their pain points, right? Like when I post about product marketing, the audience is totally different on LinkedIn. And I talk about the pain points that I face at work and maybe some skills that I learned to resolve those pain points. Or you can look for examples on my LinkedIn. If you go and check, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. Or maybe a project that I picked up that I'm really passionate about. Sometimes I also ask my network, like, hey, I'm struggling with this. If somebody knows what to do, let me know. Or like reaching out to them is another thing you could do to build community. But you also have to, at this stage, it's very important because you can't just be generic. Then you won't build a brand. You have to niche down. Like I can talk about a million things under the sun, right? But I have to target the people who are actually interested in what I'm genuinely interested in talking about as well. So that's very important. And then you have to make content that hits. So now that you know them, you have to write or make content that speaks to their goals. So the finding out their pain point is important. Now in the era of AI, I think ChatGPT can easily do it for you. So if you're not starting now, you're missing out. So yeah, I just saw your comment there, Surbi. Next is selecting a platform. So I already covered this in the previous slide, but you don't have to limit yourself to Instagram and LinkedIn. There are platforms like Discord and Fight. Recently, I joined Fight, and I've created a product marketing made simple series where I talk about like how I'm breaking this down to you in simple terms, the differences between product marketing and product management, what are the different skills that you need, and I'm trying to build a community full of product marketers there because it's so niche, right? Like on LinkedIn, there are so many professionals, there's businesses, and even if I try to reach the target market, there are so many other people who are watching my content. They're probably thinking, this is kind of useless to me. But on Fide, I've created that community just for product marketers. And I can talk about my ideas there. I can, even if like they're working in different other companies, I can maybe suggest my ideas in making their product marketing pitches go better when they are presenting to management or, helping them out there. So since I'm all about community building, selecting a platform that will help you build a community is really important. So that's what I would also suggest that you do when you start yours. But if you're into like, if you're going to create content about fitness, food, shopping, something fun, then obviously you can use Instagram and TikTok. If you're going to be talking or like targeting professionals, executives, other businesses, or like say, for example, if the goal that I spoke to you about here, the last point, right? What's your goal? So you'll have to choose what your goal is. And in my case, say, I really wanted to talk about product marketing on social media and connect with other product marketers. But your goal could simply be, I want a promotion at work. Then what are you going to be talking about? Who are you going to be targeting, right? What are their pain points and what are you solving? So that should be the way you look at it to build your personal brand. On Facebook groups, you can also find other niche communities or discussions. And I already spoke to you all about Discord, and even Slack can be used for the same purpose. But getting to my final step, which is step 4, which is the secret sauce, right? So the first thing is being very authentic. So by authentic, I don't mean you have to really put out all your thoughts out there, but to anything that you say, there should be a personal element. Like, say, you're attending a conference, it should be your insights, what you get from what they are saying. Like, they might, like, a person or a speaker might talk about a topic of interest, but what are you actually learning from them? How are you able to relate to them? And did that spark your curiosity? Did you go do your research about it? What did you learn from it, right? So if you write a post about that, that's more interesting to me than just reading what somebody spoke about at a particular conference. Or in the case of like product marketing, if I'm solving a pain point of a customer, I would relate it to something that happened to me in my life and why I didn't think of a particular solution and why before and after something happened, I thought about it and I pitched it or something of sorts. So make it relatable. There's a question. I'll definitely come to it. And the second important point here, and this is the main element of my presentation, is um, giving before you ask. And why I'm saying this is so important is when you're trying to establish a connection with anybody, like first you'll have to see what their pain points are, what they are facing. And yeah, I mean, I understand that you're building the community at some point for you also to like leverage and leverage them. But at the end of the day, how would you make a genuine connection, right? If you are just going to exist and not help anybody. So, and do this from your heart. And this is what I think has really helped me because when I came here to do my master's, there weren't too many people. Like my seniors were there, yes, but for resume reviews or mock interviews, preparation, everything I had to do by myself. And I knew how difficult it was. So that's why I started like helping people out on LinkedIn to do the same. And this came from my heart, right? And because of that, I think anybody sees any opportunity somewhere, people I have helped out, my mentees always. Um, did somebody unmute and say something?
Probably. You continue, Teju.
Yeah. So where was I? Yeah. Basically the point is give before you ask because the more you give, you'll it's just like a universal principle, right? The more you give, you get back without even asking. And I believe in that wholeheartedly because that's worked out for me. You won't even believe it. Like the more you give, you just exist. You give all you can, you exist, and The universe will just land you opportunities. It's happened to me and it works. And I think that definitely is my secret sauce. And if there's one takeaway that you have to take from here, I think it's this. Anybody who's had a personal brand built, I'm sure gave before they asked. Um, yeah, I think with that, we've come to the conclusion of our conversation today. I see a lot of questions, so I'm just going to stop sharing.
I can go with the questions, like I can repeat the questions and Teju, you can answer those. So the first question is from Nupur. How do you track the success of your personal branding efforts on different platforms?
Right. So there are insights, right? That creators, there's like a page full of insights. So say I'm posting 5 reels this month, then I can go and track how many people it actually reached, how many comments, how many shares it got. So if you are looking from a data perspective, that gives me the information. Like what do my people actually like watching? Or if somebody's not commenting, they're not reacting to something, then I know that that's not working for me. So in terms of like personal branding, obviously like my entire content, like I create content pillars for both LinkedIn and on Instagram, and I work based off of that. So if something's not working, I constantly have to go in and change my content strategy to see what's fitting in. So that's how I track my personal branding metrics.
That is cool. We have another question. It's a question from me. So, I personally find social media distracting for me. I have never been a social media person up until the point that we actually started this nonprofit initiative. And it was like, oops, how would people actually know that we're doing this, right? Unless we put out the word. And it was very daunting for me, just being candid and honest here. Because the last post I may have posted on Facebook was maybe 6 years ago. I don't know. So, how do you stay focused while posting content, creating content, and engaging with like other media posts and all of that stuff?
Right. And this is a great question, and I think it'll be very useful for anybody, who's willing to or like is starting a brand after this conversation. I think my product marketing experience at Rush Republic really helped me because it was a digital marketing agency and they taught me how exactly to go about this, right? And I learned that skill from there. I'm willing to share, but the thing is, it'll take a while. So it would be like 5 to 9 after your 9 to 5. So you'll have to spend some time on it. So essentially, every 1 hour after my work day, I dedicate to this, right? Like in my life, because I love meeting people and I don't see it as a task. It comes naturally to me. But if you're just starting out, that 1 hour should be dedicated totally any ideas that come up. Jot it down. Now you have Chat GPT, so it's really gonna just make this so much better. So you have to create content pillars for your brand and constantly create content based on your content pillars, maybe run it by AI, ask it to give you the tone and voice. So you get all of that set up and you'll have to plan your posts as well. So it you get easily distracted obviously because there are a million reels that are on your feed and most of the times when I'm posting or like I'm creating content also I'm always swiping also, right? Like I'm like, oh, this is cool, I need to send this meme to my friend, but that 1 hour is focus time just for this. um,
Yeah.
so you have to dedicate time, and I think you start off with that. And anybody who is starting on their journey, I'm happy to teach you how I do that. Maybe I can like share my screen and press, and the next time I'm doing something or that 1 hour which I dedicate, I can actually show you what I do on an everyday basis if you're interested.
Cool, because I think a lot of people are trying to learn about this. When Shreya is on her journey of creating
Okay.
a
But it's
and
discipline at the end of the day. You do work out, right? You go to the gym. So this is exactly like that.
For folks who are interested, do fill in the stay in touch with Vahati form that I just shared, and do let us know what topic you're interested in. So, for example, Teju came in here today. She's talking about personal branding. Nancy came in here. She talked about mindfulness. So, we would love to know what are the interest topics from audience, and then we can go back and collaborate with folks saying that, hey, we have interest from our audience. Please come in, and if you would like to dive deeper, or if you'd like to connect with them offline as well, totally up to you. That's super cool. Thank you, Teju. I think we
Thank
can take
you.
a question. Um, how do you measure? Okay, I'm going to combine two questions. How do you measure the success of a personal brand beyond social media metrics? Um, I'm guessing this question goes from like beyond the metrics itself. No, it's
Yeah,
work. Yeah, yeah.
I love that. I love that question. Um, so did you want to combine the next question, or shall I answer this and then we can go to the next one?
Let's answer this because the next question is different.
Okay. Okay. So, once you reach a certain amount of followers, or people are starting to reach out to you asking for help, saying, hey, I admire you, like I love the work you're doing, I watched this YouTube podcast of yours, can I set up time with you? How many people are doing that, right? So that definitely is a metric. A second one is, say people are reaching out to you for speaking engagements, they actually think you're a thought leader in the space. So once you start getting that, you would know. And when you walk into a room, if people start recognizing you, that's another way you would know. So beyond social media, I think these are some of the ways you'd probably know that your personal brand is working.
And I think even like you said, right? People reaching out to you is one thing. When they are talking to you, some way or the other form, they've heard about you, they've read your content, and it has resonated with them, right?
Yes,
So the honesty of the conversations also reflects the personal brand doesn't just have to be on social media. It's actually like, you're building it there as a representation, but your personal brand is really like your personal IP in the mind, right?
exactly, right. And as I mentioned in the beginning, what's that one thing that people would think of when they think of you? That is technically your personal brand, and it shouldn't just be tied to your work, in my opinion.
Yeah, oftentimes it's kind of like depending on what is your work or what's your profession. Yes, if the personal brand and what you do in profession are kind of like hand in hand, it's an extension. But at the end of the day, every individual has their brand, right? The profession
Totally.
may or may not. Yeah, cool. Okay, last question. What's your take on for millennial generation, especially when they are not that social as much as Gen Z? I guess it's similar to like my question, but a little different. Um, yeah, I come from millennial generation and I had
Hey,
a
me
similar.
too. You think I'm Gen Z? I'm also millennial, dude.
Okay, that's good to know. I didn't want to ask that, but I was curious. So thanks for clarifying.
I think technically millennials end at 1996.
I'm, yeah, 1996 right here.
Okay, you and oh,
But
you're
thank
at
you. Maybe I look younger.
you're at that cusp.
Yes, exactly that cusp. Yeah, totally. I think this question, millennial versus Gen Z, it's more like, I think extroverted versus introvert would be like the right thing, right? Because I don't know, like millennials and Gen Z both, I know millennial creators as well. And this boom started when, what, like 4, 5 years back when, and I think I know so many more millennial creators than Gen Z creators. So I think reframing that question, if it's going to be extroverted versus introverted person, yeah, unfortunately, the space is better for people who are extroverted, who are, willing to share, or like don't think twice before talking. But if you're introverted, it's not like you can't create on social media. It's just you might have to take a tiny bit more of like time, and you should put in a little more effort, but it's possible. And I know so many introverted creators who have more followers than me, who are doing such a fab job. Um so when you know the perks and when you know what you get out of it, I think that is the real motivation. And we can totally like take this offline. If you're introverted and you're struggling, please reach out to me. I have the right resources for you.
Yeah, and I want to share from my personal experiences because it resonates with me being an, I want to say ambivert person. So for a long period of my time, I was an introvert. Even in social settings, I'm like, when can I go back and read my book? When can I, like, what's that corner? Where's the credit room? And
Yeah,
what I came to realize is even today, I do need my solitude and I really enjoy it. I do like my thinking time very, very much. At the same time, when it comes to some of the causes that I care about, like really a lot, given this nonprofit or causes around like helping visually impaired students in the past, things like that, I realized that at that point, my brain is not thinking whether I'm an introvert or extrovert. It's thinking, what's my mission and what do I get out of this?
exactly.
So it becomes easier because there's not that resistance.
Yeah.
I think that external pull plays a great role. I
Hmm.
can talk for hours and hours about emotional resilience for immigrants, like no restrictions, no time limit, no hesitation. Someone asks me about some fashion choices, I get so awkward because I have no value to contribute to, like I don't know. And yeah. So I think it also depends on what is the cause or what is your why behind. Why do you
Right.
want to build a personal brand, right? When it's clear, it becomes easy.
Exactly, the goal part of it, which I mentioned in my presentation, that is so important. And even if, as you rightly mentioned, Surbi, even if you're introverted, if you are on a mission, you will do it. Like, I know it's a little difficult. Putting yourself out there is not a joke. And no matter how much I stress on it, some people are just going to be like, I can't do it. I'm not doing it. But I get it. I get why, you know.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Teju. It was a very quick, very fun, and very engaging presentation, I must say. Your Canva thing was so beautiful. I'm
Oh,
impressed.
thank you. Made my day. I'd love to stay in touch. People do reach out to me if you're, looking to build your personal brand. And Surbi, Sandhya, everybody who's been a part of this and organizing this. Kudos to all of you. We need communities like these. And I'd love to meet you all in person when I'm in Seattle or California.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. Thank you so much,
Thank
Teju.
you. Bye.
You. And it was a great this thing. So we were all just coming calm right after the yoga thing, and we had this burst of energy. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Made my day.
Surbhi, can I add one comment? Tejaswini, awesome session, super, super good, positive energy. What I want to add, being a mom, when I'm trying to learn something from social media or how to post on social media, like new platforms, the whatever Gen Z is not a good, like they are not a good teacher, they are like they will kind of, so I feel like you should probably maybe engage with us sometime to show exactly how you do it. You are right at that cusp age where you can understand our pain points and then also connect with the Gen Zs. So would appreciate that.
Sure, you opened my eyes. I didn't even know there was a sector like this.
Oh
But
yeah, of course, yes.
sure, sure. I'd love to connect with you also, Deepti, offline. So please do send me a request
Sounds
and
good.
we'll take it from there.
Yeah,
All
thank you.
right. Thank you, team. It was lovely
Thank
talking to
you.
all of you and amazing questions, by the way. Have a
Thank
good
you.
one.
Have a good Sunday.
Thank you, Teju.